Alright, given the functions f of x is equal to cosine x and g of x is equal to x squared minus 5x minus 6, determine the domain of the combined function y is equal to f of x over g of x. So in this case, you're finding the quotient. It's y is the combined quotient of f of x and g of x. It's going to create a rational function. So y here is equal to cosine x over g of x, which is x squared minus 5x minus 6. Excuse me. And then what you want to do now is you want to determine the domain, so you have to look for restrictions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assess the denominator, and you can actually see that this is a quadratic trinomial that is factorable, right? So think about quadratic trinomials as ax squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to factor the denominator here, so x squared minus 5x minus 6, a here is 1, b here is negative 5, c here is negative 6, right? I'm going to factor this by decomposition, where I need to find two numbers that multiply to AC, which is negative 6, that add up to negative 5. So the two numbers I can use for that is, let's do negative 6 and positive 1, right? So in this case, what I want to do here is I'm replacing this with my middle term, so x squared minus 6x plus x minus 6, and if I factor this out, you get x minus 6 times x plus 1 x minus 6. You get x plus 1 and x minus 6. Now, excuse me, what you want to do now is I'm going to plug this back in. So y is equal to cosine x over x plus 1 times x minus 6. So you can already kind of tell that your domain here is x belongs to all real numbers, but x cannot equal negative 1 and 6. Now, it's also important to understand that x should be in radians, right? So because x is in radians, you can have a value that is greater than 1 or less than 1, negative 1, right? So this is your domain, negative 1, and x belongs to all real numbers, x cannot equal negative 1 or 6.